Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Coach Lorianne. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, empower, and ignite you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a great day. I know I always do. You know, we have fun here on Healthy Lifestyle, and today we're going to light you up with some verbal caffeine. And on the show today, we have Dr. Kevin Gazzara. He is a powerhouse and has been a professional business and executive coach for the last 15 plus years. He's an ICF certified coach and a certified positive intelligence mental fitness coach. And Kevin spent 18 years at Intel Corporation. Funny, I had some association with Intel as well, in positions from program and product management to leadership development and management of the Intel University. In addition, over the last 26 years, he has been a leadership professor at six university. And today he is the senior partner at Magna Leadership Solution, founded in 2007, and the co-author of the acclaimed book, The Leader of Oz, recognized by Business Day as #1 of the must-read top 10 business books. Everyone, welcome Dr. K here. How are you, Kevin?
Fantastic, Lorianne. That was a perfect introduction. I think you win it for the best podcast host so far.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But you've only done one podcast, so that doesn't really count. No, I'm only kidding. So I'm so glad to have you on the show. And I just, you know what I love to do, and my audience knows this, I jump right in with 2 feet. So I'm a jump right into the pool girl. So I know that you have this idea of quotient, doing tasks a certain way and having a process, and it's real important. We speak about that often. So how did you come up with this whole process, and how you come up with your TQ idea?
Yeah, so the Task Quotient, or what I call TQ, was one of those shower thoughts. So I was working on my dissertation back in 2000, and I really was struggling with a topic that I was passionate about. And what I recognized through this kind of shower thought was I realized that, I had different size staffs from anywhere from 5 to 20 people. And the staff that I was managing at the time, they're all very similar behavioral styles, personalities, backgrounds in education, life experience, work experience. And, when I would give them different projects to work on, the person one would say, gee, I really like A and B and I hate doing C. And the next person would say, I really like B and C, but I hate doing A. And the next person would say, I love C and A, but I hate doing B. And I'm thinking, yeah, there's something that's going on here. These are all the same kind of people. They're kind of uniform. They're excellent performers. What's going on here? And as I was I was doing my doctorate and trying to come up with a topic, I thought, I bet you there's something that has to do with the different tasks that they're doing. And I said, hey, I proposed to my chair was I wanted to look at the different balances of task types. And there's 3 task types. There's routine tasks, there's troubleshooting or problem solving tasks, and there's project tasks. And a lot of this work was done by a gentleman by the name of Bill Daniels for American Training and Consulting. I'd worked with Bill for many years, and I consider him a mentor of mine. And I said, I bet you there's a correlation between performance, motivation, engagement, and the concept of flow, right, of getting in the zone. And I'd like to do my quantitative dissertation to statistically prove that there's a relationship between all of those elements. So there was good news and bad news.
No doubt.
The good news was that balancing your tasks on a daily basis and understanding how to do those. At the end of the session, I'll give away the assessment tool so people can actually figure out what is their ideal balance. There's 497 different balances or mixtures. And one of the things that we found was there was a direct correlation between having the right balance and your job satisfaction or engagement in your work. Statistically incredibly high. It didn't guarantee performance, or it didn't guarantee that you're going to get more widgets out or more outcome. But what it did is, at the end of the day, if you use the balance that we're going to talk through today, it does create this environment that at the end of the day or the end of the week, you will, I guarantee, statistically, will be more satisfied than you were if you just do your normal kind of jump in the river and start swimming.
Right, right. Well, I mean, and it seems very logical, the way you developed your TQ concept, and this formula that you have. So let's talk about how you came to develop, because that's a lot of combinations. I feel like, we're trying to break into a safe right now of our brains, and now you figured out how to quantify that. So let's talk a bit about how you came up with that concept.
Yeah. So like I said, the idea for the concept happened from my staff, and I wanted to try to figure out what was going on there and what I could do different as a manager and a leader when I was working at Intel, because I was trying lots and lots of different things. I also was heavily involved. I read the book. If anyone hasn't read the book, my first recommendation is read the book called Flow. It's by a guy by the name of Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. And Dr. Csikszentmihalyi. So when I had proposed this to my doctoral chair to look at all of these, and I particularly wanted to see if I could create another element that would create flow. The answer was it does not guarantee flow. It certainly works with flow. And flow, for those of you listening who don't know the concept, was retermed in the 90s called being in the zone, or getting in the zone. And what Dr. Csikszentmihalyi had found out was that there's this certain balance. When you have the right balance of challenge and skill, you can get in the zone. And the easiest way to tell whether you're in flow is when the sense of time is distorted. Right? When you look up at the clock and it's midnight and you swear it's 9 o'clock, and couldn't it be? So that's flow. And when I was developing, get to your question, when I was developing my proposal for the dissertation to do a quantitative analysis, my chair said, go out and find a tool that measures this. So I went to the library, and there's a gigantic book. I forget the name of it at the moment, that has like 10,000 different assessments. I spent the entire day going through them one by one. And I came back to my chair and said, hey, there is no tool that measures this task combination. So he had a great recommendation. He says, well, just pick a different topic. And and I said, no, I want to do this. And
just drop that. Find something else.
Go find something else. And he said no. He says, the first question I have is do you want to graduate, or do you want to develop a tool to do this? And I said, well, I want to do both. And he was pretty, just kind of disillusioned me. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to write to Dr. Csikszentmihalyi, and I'm going to ask him to be on my committee to help me develop a tool. And nice. I figure if I could get him to be on the committee and help me to develop this, what we ultimately call the Task Quotient tool, I bet you I could convince my chair. So I wrote to him, and didn't hear from him for a couple of weeks, and I started to get a little concerned. And then I got an email back from him. He said, hey, this looks interesting. Send me your prospectus. And that's the 10 or 12 page document you have to write for your proposal to get it approved. And so naturally I had to go back and rewrite it so it was even better. And I sent it to him and waited about a week. And then he sent a note and he said, yeah, hey, no one's ever done this. I'd be glad to kind of be on your committee and help you out developing it. So I sent it to my chair. I was all excited. And he said, send me the email. I want to see this. Because, I've gotten Dr. Csikszentmihalyi at the time was the department chair of the University of Chicago's Department of Psychology. And he just was questioning whether I really got his approval. And I sent him the email, and he said, boy, if he's going to be on your committee to help you develop this, I'll do that. So that's how it started. Develop all the questions. I was fortunate enough to have him kind of work with me on the scales and the different questions, and then I developed a simulation in order to prove the assessment using Legos, or actually it was, I think, Mega Blocks, right? It was the knockoff of Legos. And what I had got 112 people randomly selected, and I had them build. I created. They had to build 3 structures. They had to do a routine task. They had to do a problem-solving task, and they had to do a project task. And they had to do these 3 different structures. They took the assessment ahead of time. They didn't get the results, and a very, very simple model on developing the tool. Half of the group got exactly their balance, of preferred routine troubleshooting. It was 30-minute activities. So, for example, if you had a 30% routine desire in 30 minutes, you get 9 minutes for a routine, right? So very, very simple. And half of the group got exactly their mixture. And then they filled out this 9-page answered all these questions about how did they feel, and did you have a sense of time, and what was the productivity. And so they filled all of this data out. And then the other half, all I did was I just took whatever their highest and lowest was and flipped them, right? So
I love the whole process that you went through, and it was very, first I love the fact that you challenged, the professor, and it was like, yeah. I love that there was a pushback, and you didn't allow them to take you off of what you really wanted to do. And you could have easily walked away and picked something else. And I love that you didn't, because you wouldn't have discovered this. The other thing that you said that I really want to bring back in the forefront of the conversation is your sense of time that gets distorted. I always say, as a coach, that when you lose sense of time, you're in your superpower zone. Right. That is when you're in the place that you're supposed to and meant to be. And that's how you know. I remember back in the day when I was singing because I used to be a singer. Well, I still am, but I would go in and be a backup singer when that was a thing in New York City. And I would lose all track of time. And I didn't care, because I was just so happy, and time would just go flying by. It's wow, time is just flying by. I can't believe what time it is. When you hear those kind of phrases, you're in the right place, doing exactly what you're meant to be doing, and you're in your happy place. I'm sure that correlates back to applying TQ to yourself and your workplace. Let's talk a little bit about how one does that, and what the process of TQ is, and let's just dive right into that.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. The assessment is 15 questions. The listeners will be able to take it and get their report instantly. I worked with a company called Target Training International. So I've known them. I worked with them forever. They provide DISC and values and EQ and leadership assessments, and great company to work with, family owned. I had shown my TQ assessment to them. And I'll make a long story short, that the president basically said, yeah, this is different. We'd like to just essentially license it from you. And they've been the distributor of it since 2004, a couple of years after I had finished it. So the way TQ works is you take this assessment, and it'll give you an idea of what your ideal mixture is for each of those. And so I'll give you a very high level. Mine is about 50% project, about 30% routine, and 30% troubleshooting and 20% routine. That's my mixture roughly, right? So it's like a 48 and 32.
Which makes sense, because you used to be a project manager.
That's true, right? So I really liked the project and work when I was a project manager as well as a product manager. And so once you know that, then the next thing to do is that you track the work that you do on a regular basis. So we usually, when we do a TQ session, we usually do them in 4 to 8 hour sessions. What we'll do is we'll ask them before they come in there is to track the work that you've done over the week, and then look at it. Then when you get to the session, we'll help you figure out which ones are routine troubleshooting and project work. And then we'll look at what kind of the mixture is for you at the moment. And then we